realized that I was abusing myself. I realized that I was shoving things down, and why I was doing that is because I wanted him to love me.
When I found out my husband of almost 25 years had been having an affair, I was 51 years old. We had been together for 27 years.
So two times I've stepped out on my 20-year marriage, 2 times, and not big, a kiss here and there. And both times it's caused a separation.
So in this video, we're going to be talking about life after divorce as a lady. So the video clip I'm going to be sharing with you guys is from different ladies from different life experiences. So they're going to be sharing with us how their life have been after getting divorced. Are they regretting it, or they are enjoying their life? And also some general life experiences after divorce, how they are coping with divorce life right now. So guys, let's dive in.
Left me with nothing, homeless, left me a single parent to our child with nothing. My biggest regret is not investing in myself. I can blame my ex all I want for that. Ultimately, I did not demand that we invest in me. And for all my ex's hobbies and dreams and goals, we put all of our extra money toward it all the time. After investing in my spouse for 15 years, they decided that now that they had this great job, that they would just toss me aside and move to a fancy new place and wanted to take all their money with them. If I had invested some of that time, some of that money over those 15 years into me, then I wouldn't be struggling the way that I am right now. I should have invested in myself more.
I stayed at home for 13 years. I don't have a lot of regrets about that because I was taking care of my 2 kids, taking care of my home. My husband's in the military. I feel proud of the work that I did, raising my kids and taking care of my home. But gosh, I have so much regret right now. I have so much regret that I stayed home. I'm in a hole right now that I'm trying to dig myself out of. And I just think to myself, I never should have trusted this person with financially, mentally, emotionally. I should not have put my life in this person's hands. Most days I try to be positive about this changes that are going on in my life, especially through this divorce process. I'm going to have good days and bad days. And like a few days, I've had good days. I felt really hopeful, confident in what I'm doing. This is the best thing for me. But today is such a bad day and I just feel like an idiot. I just feel like a complete and total idiot. Like, why did I think it was a good idea to just completely financially, mentally, and emotionally just depend on this person? Especially when there was so much evidence, when there were so many indicators that I couldn't depend on this person. And I just kept doing it for years. I'm trying really hard to dig myself out of it, but gosh, it's really hard. I just feel so much freaking regret. And I'm like, why was I so dumb? I never should have trusted him. I should have been more independent. Even if I was married, I should have gone to school. I should have gotten a degree. I should have got a job. I should have done more. And I just sat on my ass and I depended on him. You know, maybe I sound bitter or cynical, but just don't stay at home. Don't stay at home. Don't depend on a man financially. Don't think, oh, he wants to be a provider. He takes care of us. No, don't do it. Just don't. Don't do it.
You know, today is my 39th birthday. I just left the parking garage. If you guys have tuned in with me today, I shared some really good juicy stuff on my TikTok. But I have recently found the theme in my TikToks to be about vulnerability, transparency, and authenticity. Because it's truly liberating when you conduct yourself from that space. And I'm crying today because I was married when I was 19. I'm still actually married. I'm 39 today, so I got space from that relationship 3 years ago because I realized that I was abusing myself. I realized that I was shoving things down, and why I was doing that is because I wanted him to love me. And that's when I realized that I loved him more than I loved myself, and I needed to get out of it. So this kind of comes back to the theme of addicted to suffering. Don't be so sacrificial just in the sake of love for someone else to love you.
So I haven't really been posting a lot lately because, I have to be honest, single motherhood is really kicking my butt right now. I've been divorced for 2 months. I'm starting my entire life over again in a lot of ways. On one hand, it's very invigorating, it's very positive and very hopeful. But on the other hand, it's a lot of work. When I was married, I felt like my entire future was already determined. I knew what was going to happen every single day, even though a lot of it was very negative and I was very unhappy in that situation. There was a comfort, I think, knowing what was going to happen every day and knowing what to expect. Now my life is wide open, and I'm not really sure what to expect each day. While I think that sounds good, it's different, I think, when you are my age. I'm 53 years old, and I didn't imagine that I would be starting my life over at this age. I thought that I would be settling in a life that I predetermined, where I did know what was going to happen each day. That's how I wanted life to be. But because my marriage was so bad and the relationship that I had with my ex-husband was so toxic, it was not something that I could stay in and thrive. So the divorce was just kind of taking this chance to have an opportunity to live a real life. But that takes work. That's not something easy. I think the feelings that you have after divorce are very complicated, and it's not going to look like a certain way. One day you feel really grateful and happy and thankful that you're out of it. The next day you're filled with a lot of loneliness and regret and fear. It's much more complicated, than I thought it was going to be.
So, I just left the lawyer's office. Divorced. Divorcing the person you love who chose to have an affair. It's not for the weak. He walked in with a Coke and a Snickers for me, which is my typical breakfast. Tried to hold my hand in the lobby. Said this wasn't what he wanted. That's what being married to a narcissist is like. We were taken upstairs and separated in conference rooms. He was on one end, I was on the other. As I'm sitting there, he starts liking old text messages. That's what being married to a narcissist is like. So during the entire time, which was about 2 hours, I didn't touch the Coke or the Snickers. After I signed and started to cry, I left in a hurry. And I set the Coke with the little paper still on top and the Snickers bar on his truck. Sends a louder message. I don't want anything from him. I don't need anything from him. I just wanted him. And he couldn't be that. So this is just a honest video that I'll be okay, but hurts a lot. So now I get to go to work and pretend that everything's okay while I'm crumbling. Thank you to everybody that's been so nice and supportive and helped along the way. It's done.
I feel like I'm making the video I need to see right now because sometimes life just isn't better after divorce. The thing is, I know it will be. I know it will be, and that's what's getting me through this time. But man, I am really fucking sad. I'm not doing well. I'm not coping well. I miss my husband. I miss my married life, and that's okay to admit. Navigating this shit alone, doing this alone, takes a strength that I was not prepared for. I feel like people need to know if they're thinking about leaving their husband or they're just not happy, or I'm in the company of people who get it. It is just soul giving, because it's so hard to navigate this shit alone when no one knows what you're going through. Thing is, I wouldn't change anything because I don't regret my decision. I know that marriage was not gonna work out. It doesn't make it any less hard or anything that I'm having to deal with any less hard. I just wanna feel like I'm not being kicked while I'm down for once. And I just want to feel strong, and I just want to feel like I'm doing well, and I'm just not. I know I'm not the only one feeling like this, so I just want you to know, if you feel like this too, it's going to be okay. But if it's not okay right now, that's okay too.
Okay, y'all, 5 years post-divorce, and I wanted to share my regrets. This is after infidelity, and it's the process, maybe everything that I was going through. These are some of the things that I regret. I regret begging to be chosen, begging to be loved, begging for the opportunity to figure out what happened, to fix us. I regret begging. I regret being naive, not necessarily trusting, but naive that we were happy, naive that it could never happen to us, never, that I was married to the person that had the most integrity out of anyone I ever knew. I regret being naive. I regret being harsh on myself. I took quite a bit of a self-esteem blow. I thought that maybe I had gotten older or that I had done something wrong. And I regret not giving myself grace and that it wasn't about me at all. I regret being embarrassed. Oh gosh, I regret that so much. I had nothing to be embarrassed about. He embarrassed himself. I regret being embarrassed. If you are going through a divorce right now, it seems overwhelming and sad, and gosh, if only your future self could tell you how good it's going to be after. You were shining before, shining during, and you will shine after. Sending you lots of love and hugs and positive vibes, and it's going to get better. It's going to get better. All right, love you guys. Mwah!
When I found out my husband of almost 25 years had been having an affair, I was 51 years old. We had been together for 27 years, and I was devastated. I was scared. I was overwhelmed. And quite honestly, for a few weeks, I was pretty paralyzed. To be clear, I was not scared of being alone. I had been alone a lot throughout our marriage. He traveled for a living, and I was a really independent sort always through our marriage. I had my own jobs and careers. I had my own friendships. I had my own hobbies. I did a lot of volunteer work. I was busy with my kids and at their school. So I had a really rich and full life outside of my marriage as well, thankfully. But we had been together since I was 25 years old and had grown up together and had built our entire life together and an identity as a family and as a couple. We were starting to think about retirement and shifting into a new phase of empty nesting. And all of a sudden, those plans, those dreams, all of the things that we had talked about for our future were now gone. They were no more. And I know that thinking about separating and divorcing in your 40s or separating and divorcing in your 50s is scary. And it's still scary sometimes. But just know that you have a beautiful chapter left to write, even at this age and stage. And on days that you don't believe this, I want you to bookmark this video and I want you to come back to it.
Do women regret divorce? Here are a few themes from a video I posted about a month ago asking this exact question. They wish they did it sooner. They wish they never got married. The post-separation abuse was awful. When the husband chose divorce, interestingly, they said it was the best thing that ever happened to them. They wish they had trusted their gut. The most used words were peace and freedom. A lot of them faced financial hardship after the divorce, but they still never regretted it. Many of them upgraded all areas of their lives, their careers, their friendships, their homes, their hobbies. They said their houses now stay clean. They no longer walk on eggshells. They are having divorce parties. They are celebrating their divorce anniversaries like people celebrate wedding anniversaries. Now, men did still show up to say that over 22,000 women who commented weren't being honest and that we do in fact regret it. But that aside, the overall arching theme was women absolutely do not regret divorce. And instead, they found themselves after divorce and they are now living their best lives. Thank you to every woman that took the time to share your story and your experiences with me. I'm proud of you and I celebrate you.
So two times I've stepped out on my 20-year marriage, 2 times, and not big, a kiss here and there. And both times it's caused a separation, because when you live in a situation, and here's the thing, I'm not going to justify cheating. I don't think it's justified, which is why I've chosen to separate after certain things. But at some point, whenever you're with somebody, and after, I'm going to tell you, I was with this person for 20 years, and for 18 of them, he made me beg to be touched. The problem is that we get along really well, friendship-wise, but romantically, it was very, 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 very painful to be unwanted and unloved that way. Friendship-wise, we got along, we were into the same thing, so that helps, but twice I've been approached by blonde-headed coaches. And you'd think that I would pick up on that. It's like, here's your lesson. So I learned my lesson the first time. The second time it smelled a lot like the same. And so it probably was wanting an entourage of women to follow behind them. The first one definitely wanted an entourage, and the second one definitely was a coward. But then watched after, stalking me, and anyway, DMing, pursuing, and you're kind, and they take that as flirtation. But you get so angry in that situation where you're not being loved, where you have to beg for any kind of affection, that you're not thinking straight when it comes to allowing someone else to admire you. And so that's what you do. You let them admire you. Which is what it is. But at this point, I am choosing me over any relationship where I have the slightest temptation that direction. I would rather be alone than have that, because when you're in a relationship with somebody, you should never feel so desperate for attention. You should have somebody on your side. You should have somebody that loves you. that's present for you, that doesn't use that sort of stuff against you. And the people who approach you, that I think a lot of times they see that you're desperate, and it puts you in a really bad situation, and you don't want to be in that situation. And it makes you feel pretty rough about yourself. And so this last one that approached me, regardless of why he did it, it kind of woke me up to the idea that I needed to be alone. I needed to not be married anymore. I needed to, because in my life what I want is that person to be my only person. I don't want to have anyone else. And I don't want to need to have anyone else. I want to be treated respectfully and not disrespectfully. And I want to be appreciated and not tolerated. And so there are pushy people in the world, and I'm going to tell you that both of the people who approached me were pretty pushy. But I chose to allow them to be pushy, and so that's my bad. That was my fault, to allow them to be pushy. But it did wake me up to what I needed to do, and so I did. I'm actively working towards leaving. And divorce is hard, but it is what it is. And I'm working towards a peaceful end to something that was good at times, where I have a beautiful daughter, and where this person I so loved him. And I so thought the world of him, and I still have love for him, but not the same way. And I wanted things to work out, and I didn't want to have to do things like I'm doing, but at some point you have to choose yourself. And to the two who approached me, the two lovely coaches, I hope that your wives understand what you do. Because my husband knew about you. And I apologized for even allowing anyone close. And so here I am, making it on my own after 22 years. And I'm finding freedom in that, and I'm finding healing in that, and peace. And while it's hard because you miss, I told my brother it was surreal. It's surreal. And I'm sure he'd say the same thing, is that it's surreal. But life is life, and life is what it is. And here I am, making it, and never wanting to be in that position again where I'm so desperate. And never wanting to be in a relationship with someone who would make me feel so desperate. And never allowing people to make me feel so desperate for love and for affection and for anything like that. It's a job, of working through and learning what you can and can't tolerate. But anyway, you'll be good.
On the day my
All divorces are women leaving men. Unpack that for us. I looked up the research and it's 70% of women that are initiating divorce. Would you work at a company that only had a 30% retention rate for their employees? 70% of the employees are leaving the company? Would you think, oh man, these employees suck? Or would you think, what the hell's wrong with that employer that they can't keep any employees? So then I put my researcher cap on and I read a lot of articles from psychologists who are doing all this marriage counseling to see what's really going on. And hands down, the women are mad. They feel tricked. They get into this marriage thinking that they're going to have a partner and they're going to have support. And the three biggest reasons that women are walking away from marriage is, number one, their partner isn't emotionally intelligent and doesn't know how to emotionally connect. So there's no actual friendship between the husband and the wife. Number two, the women are carrying all of the mental load and emotional labor for the entire family, and it's exhausting. And number three, they're just not accepting abuse anymore. And abuse is defined as someone who tries to control you, manipulate you, or neglect you. And the statistics show that 50% of women, once they get divorced, don't remarry. They're done. But 70% of men will remarry. Because studies also show that marriage is much more beneficial for men. They live longer and they're able to make more money in their jobs because someone's holding things down at the home fort. And marriage is not beneficial for women. Men tend to rely on women to do all of the household labor, to do all of the mental load of making doctor's appointments, purchasing the things for the house, doing the cooking, the cleaning, and that the women are carrying the emotional labor as well. Meaning they're always trying to initiate connection and help regulate everybody's emotions better. I'll also add that only 27% of women say that they regret getting a divorce, whereas 39% of men say they regret getting a divorce. So the institution just isn't working for women much anymore. And so much of that has to do with the fact that men are struggling to regulate their emotions, to be emotionally intelligent, and to know how to emotionally connect with a woman, especially around the area of having empathy. So that's my interpretation of the statistics. What's yours?
I just left the gym, as you can probably tell. And when I work out, it always gives me a lot of time to reflect on life. And sometimes that's good and sometimes it's not so good. And today I was just kind of wallowing in some thoughts while I'm listening to this song that always makes me go, why was I not enough? And while I don't want him back, I don't want the chaos, I don't want the gaslighting, I don't want the lies, I don't want the mistreatment, I don't want to walk on eggshells anymore. But it just goes, I just go, why? Why did, after all those years, I not matter at all? Why was he not capable of love? And I know that that's just a trait of some people. that they just can't let people in. But I gave so much of myself. I poured myself into that relationship. I lost myself as a result of that relationship. I gave up friends. I pushed away family. I didn't do the things that I enjoyed doing to focus on the things he enjoyed doing because he was so afraid of the world. It's just like he didn't enjoy socializing, so therefore I couldn't enjoy socializing. And he didn't like going out and doing anything fun, so we just stayed at home. And I worked from home, so I was just a prisoner in that house. But, I'm glad I got out. I'm glad I have the freedom now. I feel such a sense of peace every night knowing that there's not any mood that I have to watch out for, any eggshells I have to walk on. But, it just makes me so sad that I gave so much of myself and so many years of my life to a man who didn't give a crap. He didn't care. And I cared. Why did I care? It's just heartbreaking. It's just like, I wrestle with this, and I have days where I'm like, I'm fine. I don't, I'm glad he's gone. And of course, I'm glad that it's over. But man, I regret the years I lost. I just lost my 30s and my 40s. I lost them and gave them. I spent them on him, on a man who was just not capable of returning it. And that is a tough pill to swallow. So that's kind of what I'm wrestling with today, guys.
Part 3 of 5 things that I regret since being divorced, in a woman in my 50s. When I say regret, I mean just things I would do differently. And the third one from the video is not ending things sooner than I did. By this I mean we tried for quite a long time before the actual marriage came to an end, even to the point where I arranged for us to have our vows renewed because it was a last ditch attempt. Let's give this one final go, surely we can bring this back. And we just couldn't. The complacency was far too deep. And because of that, I do think that for me, and I don't speak for all women, but for me, when complacency runs that deep within a relationship and there's just no appreciation anymore, I checked out. And I don't think there was much that he could have done to bring my feelings back, because you shouldn't have to keep being told how things should be or what's upsetting you or what you would like more of. You shouldn't have to. You have to listen to what someone's telling you, because what they're presenting as is what they are. And trying to change someone and get them to be how they used to be, if they don't want to, they're not going to do it. So I think in hindsight, all the effort that was put in to try to save the relationship was a waste of time.
Being divorced after marrying is not what any lady or anybody prays for. It's just that life happens sometimes and we just have to move on. This life is so unpredictable, and we just have to go with life like that. If not, we will remain happy for the rest of our life. That is why sometimes we just have to take that hard decision. Sometimes it's not what we really wished for, but you just have to live life the way life threw its reality at us. Anyway, guys, what do you think of all these life experiences that these beautiful ladies here share with us? Do you agree with some of their opinion, their thoughts, and what they share, the story that they share with us? Let me know at the comment section. Is it relatable due to your own experience, or maybe from your relative, your friends, your neighbors? What do you think? Do you think life after divorce is much happier? Do you think there's happy life after getting divorced, or everybody should try and maintain being married?